Change for the homeless. Change for the homeless. Change for the homeless.
Music. So it is not a dream at last, nor a vision. They are mute, and I am mute before me. Poor wretch. Now I may go back. The mystery is over, unless we join together and live together till death ensue. What would you say to that, Beth? Hey, Beth? May I call you Beth? Like my daughter? Do you like company, Beth? Do you like tinned food, Beth?
What tinned food?
Corned beef, Beth. Just corned beef. Enough to keep body and soul together till summer, with care. No? A few potatoes too. A few pounds of potatoes too. Do you like potatoes? We might even let them sprout. And when the time came, we put them in the ground. I could choose the place, and you could put them in the ground. Eh?
How are the trees doing?
Hard to say. It's winter, you know.
Is it day or night?
Day, if you like. No sun, of course. Otherwise you wouldn't have asked. Do you follow my reasoning? Have you your wits about you, Beth? Have you still some of your wits about you?
But light.
Yes. Yes, light. There is no other word for it. Would you like me to describe it to you? Shall I try to give you a sense of this light?
It seems to me they spend the night here, playing and listening. I used to feel the twilight gather, and I'd make myself ready. I put away fiddle and bow, and had only to get to my feet before he took me by the hand.
He?
A man. My man. But now I don't know. I get here and I don't know. And while I'm here, I don't know if it's day or night.
You were not always as you are. What befell you, man? Gambling? God?
I was always as I am.
Come.
I was always as I am, crouched in the darkness, scratching an old jangle to the four winds.
We had our men, hadn't we? You yours to lead you by the hand, and I mine to get me out of the chair in the evening and back into it again in the morning, and to push me as far as the corner when I went out of my mind.
Cripple? Poor wretch.
Only one problem, the about turn. I often felt, as I struggled, that it would be quicker to go right on, right round the world, till I realised that I could go home backwards. For example, I am at A, I push to B, and I return to A. The straight line, the vacant space. Do I begin to move you?
Sometimes I hear voices, steps, and I say to myself, they're coming back to resettle, coming back for something they left behind.
Come back.
Oh, maybe someone they left behind.
Who would want to come back here? And she never called out, cried out, no?
Have you observed nothing?
Oh, me, you know, observe. I sit there, in my lair, in my chair, in the dark, 23 hours out of the 24. What would you have me observe? Do you think we would make a match now that you've gotten to know me?
Corned beef, did you say?
What have you been living off all this time? You must be famished.
There are things lying around.
Edible?
Sometimes.
Why don't you let yourself die?
On the whole, I've been lucky. Just the other day, I tripped over a little sack of nuts.
No.
A little sack of nuts just right in the middle of the road.
Yes, all right, but why don't you let yourself die?
I've thought of it.
But you don't do it.
I've been unhappy. I'm not unhappy enough.
But you must.
I'm not unhappy enough.
Also, if you ask me, we were made for each other.
How is it all doing now?
knowing me, you know, I never go far. Just a little up and down before my door. I never get pushed on to here till now.
But you look about you, don't you?
I don't.
After all those hours in the darkness.
No. Of course, if you wish me to look about me, I shall. And if you care to push me about, I shall try to describe the scene as we go along.
You mean you would guide me? I wouldn't get lost anymore.
Exactly. I would say, easy, Beth. We're heading for a great muck heap. Turn back and wheel left when I give you the word.
You do that.
Easy, Beth, easy. I see a round tin over there by the corner. Perhaps it's soup or baked beans.
Baked beans.
Are you beginning to like me, or is it only my imagination?
Baked beans. Where are you?
Here, dear fellow. Stop!
It's a gift! A gift!
Stop! Forgive me. Forgive me, Beth.
Where am I? Where was I?
Now I've lost her. She was beginning to like me and I struck her. She'll leave me and I'll never see her again. I'll never see anyone again. I'll never hear the human voice again.
Have you not heard it enough? It's the same moans and groans from the cradle to the grave.
Do me something before you go.
There. Do you hear it? I can't go. Do you hear
You
it?
can't go.
I can't go without my things.
What good are they to you?
None.
And you can't go without them.
No, I can't go. I'll find them in the end, or forever leave them behind me.
Straighten my chair. I'd do it myself, but it would take too long. Do that for me, Beth. Then I may go back, settle in the old nook again, and say I've seen woman for the last time. I struck her and she succored me. Find a few rags of love in my heart, and die reconciled with my species. What has you gaping at me like that?
Make a sound.
Have I said something I shouldn't have?
Just make a sound.
Have you no sense of smell either?
It's the same stink everywhere. Am I within reach of your hand?
Wait, you're not going to do me a service for nothing, are you? I mean, unconditionally. Good God.
Your foot.
What?
You said your foot.
Had I been known? Yes. My foot tucked in. On your knees, you'll be more at ease. There.
Hold my hand. You asked me to do a favour and you hold my hand. Have you only one leg?
Just the one.
The other?
Went bad and was removed.
Will that do?
A little tighter. What hands you have?
Is all the rest there?
You must stand up now and do me a favour.
Is all the rest there?
Nothing else has been removed, if that's what you mean.
Your face?
I must confess, yes. What else would it be? That, my wen.
Red?
Purple. What hands you have?
Is it still day?
Oh, day if you like. There's no other word for it.
Will it not soon be night?
Come on, get up. You're beginning to incommode me.
Will it not soon be evening?
Oh, day, night. Seems to me sometimes the earth must have got stuck. One sunless day, in the heart of winter, in the grey of night. Come on, Beth, get up. You're beginning to embarrass me.
Is there any grass anywhere?
I see none.
Is there any green anywhere?
A little moss. Oh God, don't tell me you're going to pray.
No.
Or weep.
No. I could stay like this forever with my head on another woman's knees.
Knee? Get up, can't you?
What peace. Dennis used to say the days I hadn't earned enough. You and your harp. You do better with your father's metal pins in your ass and a money box around your neck. You and your harp. Who I thought I was, but I never could. I wasn't good enough. You and your harp. But if I listened for long enough, a string would give, and I would hear it.
Your harp? What's all this about a harp?
I once had a little harp. Be still and let me listen.
How long are you going to stay like that?
I could stay for hours just listening to all the sounds.
What sounds?
I don't know what they are.
I can see it. I can.
Will you not be still?
No. I can see it over there on the stool by the corner. What if I took it, Beth, and made off with it, eh? Beth, what would you say to that? There might be another old woman come out of her hole and find you playing the mouth organ. Hey? And you tell her of the little fiddle you once had. Hey, Beth? Or singing. What would you say to that? There, in the croaking of the winter wind.
I said to him,
We were not
never
long
asked.
together.
I said to him, give her up. I swore by all I held most sacred.
One morning as I was sitting stitching by the open window, she burst in and pulled me. Give him up, she screamed. He's mine. Her photographs were kind to her, singing out for the first time full length from the blush. I understood why he preferred me.
We were not long together when she smelled the rat give up the whore. She said, or I'll cut my throat. Pardon, so help me God. I knew she could have no proof, so I told her I did not know what she was talking about.
What are you talking about? I said, stitching away. Someone yours. Give up whom? I smell you often, she screamed. He stinks of bitch.
Though I had him dogged for months by a first-rate man, no shadow of proof was forthcoming. And there was no denying that he continued as assiduous as ever. This and his horror of the merely platonic thing made me sometimes wonder if I were not accusing him unjustly. Yes.
What have you to complain of? I said. Have I been neglecting you? How could we be together in the way we were if there was someone else? Loving her as I did with all my heart, I could not but feel sorry for her.
Fearing she was about to offer me violence, I rang for Erskine and had her shown out. Her parting words, as he could testify, if he is still living and has not forgotten coming and going on the earth, letting people in and showing people out, were to the effect that she was selling my hash. I confess it still alarmed me a little at the time.
She was not convinced I might have known. I smell her off you, she kept saying. There was no answer to this, so I took her in my arms and I told her I could not live without her. I meant it, what is more, yes, I'm sure I did. She did not repulse me.
Judge then of my astonishment when one fine morning as I was sitting stricken in the morning room, he slunk in, fell on his knees before me, buried his face in my lap and confessed.
She put a blood hand on me, but I had a little chat with him. He was glad of the extra money.
Why don't you get out? I said when he started moaning about his home life. There's obviously nothing between you anymore, or is there?
I confess my first feeling was one of wonderment. What a male.
Anything between us, he said. What do you take me for? Something machine, and of course with him no danger of the spiritual thing. Then why don't you get out? I said. I sometimes wondered if he was not living without her money.
The next thing was the scene between them. I can't have her crashing in here, threatening to take my life, she said. I must have looked incredulous. Ask Exine, she said, if you don't believe me.
Oh, she threatens to take her own.
But she threatens to take her own. Not yours, she said. No, I said hers. We had fun trying to work this out.
Then I forgave him. What would love not do? I suggested a little jaunt to celebrate. To the Riviera, our darling Grand Canary. He was looking pale, peaked. But this is not possible just then. Professional commitments.
She came again, just strolled in, all honey licking her lips. Poor thing, I was doing my nails by the open window. He's told me all about it, she said. Who he? I said, valuing what it? I know what torture you must be going through, she said, and I dropped in to say a bare, you know, feeling I rang for Erskine.
I got frightened and decided to make a clean breast of it. She was looking more and more desperate. She had a razor in her vanity bag. Adulterers take warning, never admit.
So he was mine again, all mine. I was happy again. I went about singing the world.
When he came again, we had it out. I felt like death. He went on about why he had to tell her, too risky and so on, that made her go, back to her, back to that.
pudding face, puffy, spots of blubber mouth, jowls, no neck, dug as he could.
He went on and on. I could hear him mow an old hand mower, so I stopped him and said, whatever I might be feeling, I had no silly pet stopper, but not much stomach for leavings either. He thought that over for a bit.
Carl's like a flunky.
When I saw her again, she was looking wretched. Pardon, some fool was cutting grass. A little rush, then another. The problem was how to convince her that no revival of intimacy was involved. I couldn't, I might have known, so I took her in my arms and I swore I could not go on living without her. I don't believe I could have.
The only solution was for us to go away together. He swore we should as soon as he had put his affairs in order. In the meantime, we were to carry on as before. By that, he meant as best we could.
So he was mine again, or mine. I was happy again. I went about singing, the world.
At home, all heart to heart, new leaf and bygones, bygones. I ran into your ex-docchies, he said one night on the pillow. You're well out of that. Rather uncalled for, I thought. I am indeed, sweetheart, I am indeed. God, what vermin women. Thanks to you, angel.
Then I began to smell her off me again. Yes.
When he stopped coming, I was prepared, more or less.
Finally, it was all too much. I simply could no longer.
Before I could do anything, he disappeared. That meant she had won. That slut. I couldn't credit it. I lay stricken for weeks. Then I drove over to her place. It was all bolted and barred, all grey with frozen dew. On the way back by ash and snoddling.
I simply could no longer.
I made a bundle of these things and burned them. It was November and the bonfire was going. All night I smelled them smouldering.
When first
Mercy,
this
Yeah.
changed.
mercy.
When first this changed, I actually thanked God. I said, it is done. It is said. Now all is going out.
Mercy, mercy, tongue still hanging out for mercy. You haven't seen me, but you will, then it will come.
To say I am not disappointed now I am. I had anticipated something better, more restful.
Or you will weary of me.
Down, all going down into the dark. Peace is coming, I thought. After all, at last I was right. After all, thank God, when first this changed.
Less confused, less confusing. At the same time, I prefer this to the other thing, definitely. There are endurable moments.
I thought,
When you go out and I go out, someday you'll tire of me and go out for good.
Hellish half-light.
peace. Yes, I suppose a kind of peace. And all that pain as if never been.
Give me up as a bad job. Go away and start poking a peg at someone else. On the other hand,
Get off me, get off me!
It will come. It must come. There is no peace in this.
on the other hand, things may disimprove. There is that danger.
Of course I now know.
Bite off my tongue and swallow it. Spit it out. Would that placate you? How the mind works still, to be sure.
You might get angry.
You might get angry and blaze me clean out of my wits. Mightn't you?
Of course I now know that all that was just play. And all this, when will all this?
I can't.
Is that it?
Is that it?
Mightn't you?
All this, when will all this have been just play?
I can do nothing. For anybody. Anymore. Thank God, so it must be something I have to say. How the mind works still, to be sure.
But I doubt it. It would not be like you somehow, and you must know I'm doing my best, or don't you?
Perhaps they've become friends. Perhaps sorrow.
I can't.
But I said all I can.
But I said all I can, all you let me, all I...
Perhaps sorrow has brought them together.
No doubt I make the same mistake as when it was the sun that shone of looking for sense, where possibly there is none.
Perhaps they meet and sit over a cup of that green tea they both so love without milk or sugar, not even a squeeze of lemon.
Are you listening to me? Is anyone looking at me? Is anyone bothering about me at all?
Not even a squeeze of.
Is it something I should do with my face other than utter?
Am I taboo, I wonder? Not necessarily, now little danger is averted. That poor creature, I can hear her, that poor creature.
Bite off my tongue.
Bite off my tongue and swallow it. Spit it out. Would that placate you? How the mind works still, to be sure.
Meet and sit now in one dear place, now in the other, and sorrow together and compare. Pardon, happy memories.
If only I could think.
If only I could think. There is no sense in this either. None whatsoever, I can't.
That poor creature who tried to seduce you, whatever became of her, do you suppose? I can hear her, poor thing.
Personally, I always preferred Lipton's.
And that all is falling, all fallen, from the beginning on it, yeah. Nothing being said at all, no one asking me for anything at all.
They might even feel sorry for me if they could see me, but never so sorry as I for them.
I can't.
Kissing their sour kisses.
I pity them in any case. Yes, compare my lot with theirs, however blessed, and
I can't. The mind won't let it. It would have to go, yes.
pity them.
What do you do when you go out? Shift?
Why go out? Why go?
She had means, I fancy.
She had means, I fancy, that she looked like a pig, yes.
Like dragging a great roll on a scorching day, the strain to get it moving, momentum coming. kill it and strain again.
Why go down? Why not?
Have I lost the thing you want?
Have I lost the thing you want?
Can you perhaps pity me, thinking, poor thing, she needs a rest?
Perhaps she is taking him away to live.
Perhaps she is taking him away to live, somewhere in the sun.
Why go down? Why not?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Why not keep glaring at me ceaselessly? I might begin to rave and bring it up for you, Pa.
No.
Perhaps she is sitting somewhere by the open window, her hands folded in her lap, gazing down out over the others.
To think they were never together.
Am I not perhaps a little unhinged already?
Poor creature. Poor creatures.
They never worked together on a May morning, the first to wake the other two, then in a little dinghy.
Penitence.
Penitence, yes, at a pinch atonement. One was resigned, but no, that does not seem to be the point either.
I say, am I perhaps not a little unhinged already? Just a little? I doubt it.
A little dinghy.
Silence and darkness were all I craved. Will they get a certain amount of both? They being one. Perhaps there's more wickedness to ask for both.
A little dinghy on the river, I resting my oars, they lolling on air pillows in the stern. Sheets drifting such fantasies.
Dying for darkness.
Hellish half-light.
Hellish half-light.
A shade gone in the head, just a shade, I doubt it.
We were not civilized.
Dying for dark, and the darker the worse. Yes.
Such fantasies then and now.
I doubt it.
Yes, and the whole thing.
Yes, and the whole thing there, staring you in the face.
You will see it. Get off me.
You will see it. Get off me, all weary.
And now that you are,
And now that you are, mere eye, just looking at me, at my face, on and off.
weary of playing with
Weary of playing with me. Get off me.
Looking for something in my face, some truth in my eyes, on and off. Now that you are, mere eye, just turning on and off. Am I as much as being seen?
I said to him,
We were not long together.
I said to him, give her up. I swore by all I held most sacred.
One morning as I was sitting stitching by the open window, she burst in and flew at me. Give him up, she screamed, he's mine. Her photographs were kind to her, singing out for the first time full length in the flesh. I understood why he preferred me.
We were not long together when she smelled the rat. Give up that whore, she said, or I'll cut my throat. Pardon, so help me God. I knew she could have no proof, so I told her I did not know what she was talking about.
What are you talking about? I said, stitching away. Someone yours, give up him. I smell you often, she screamed, he stinks of bitch.
Though I had him dogged for months by a first-rate man, no shadow of proof was forthcoming. And there was no denying that he continued as assiduous as ever. This and his horror of the merely platonic thing made me sometimes wonder if I'm not accusing him unjustly. Yes.
What have you to complain of? Have I been neglecting you? How could we be together in the way we were if there was someone else? Loving her as I did with all my heart, I could not but feel sorry for her.
Fearing she was about to offer me violence, her rank for Erskine had shown out. Her parting was as he could testify if he is still living and has not begun coming and going on the earth, letting people in and showing people out, but to the effect that she was set on my hash, I confess this did alarm me a little at the time.
She was not convinced, I might have known. I smelled her off, she kept saying there was no answer to this, so I took her in my arms and I swore I could not go on living without her. I meant it what is more, yes, I'm sure I did. She did not repulse me.
Judge said of my astonishment when one fine morning as I was sitting stricken in the morning room, he flung in, fell on his knees before me, buried his face in my lap and confessed.
She put a blood hand on me, but I had a little chat with him. He was glad of the extra money.
Why don't you get out? I said when he started moaning about his home life. There's obviously nothing between you anymore, or is there?
I confess my first feeling was one of wonderment. What a male.
The next thing,
Anything between us, he said. What do you take me for? Something machine, and of course with him no danger of the spiritual thing. Then why did you get out? I said. I sometimes wondered if he was not living with her for her money.
the next thing was the scene between them. I can't have her crashing in here, she said, threatening to take my life. I must have looked incredulous. Asked the next thing, she said, if you don't believe me.
but she threatens to take her own.
Then I forgave him. To what will love not stoop? I suggested a little jaunt to celebrate to the Riviera, our darling Grand Canary. He was looking pale. Piqued. This was not possible just then. Professional commitments.
She came again, just strolled in, all honey, licking her lips. Poor thing, I was doing my nails by the open window. He has told me all about it, she said. Who he? I said, filing away, and what it? I know what torture you must be going through, she said, and I've dropped in to say I bear you no ill feelings. I rang for Erskine.
Then I got frightened and decided to make her clean-breasted. She was looking more and more desperate. She had a razor in her vanity bag. Adulterers take warning, never admit.
When I was satisfied it was over, I went to have a gloat, just to comment out. But he could have found in her when he had me.
When he came again, we had it out. I felt like death. He went on and on about why he had to tell her, too risky and so on. That meant to go back to her, back to that.
Pudding face, puffy, spots, blabbermouth, jowls, no neck, dogs you could.
He went on and on. I could hear him mow, an old hand mower, so I stopped him and said, whatever I might be feeling, I had no silly thirst stopper, but not much stomach for leaving Zula. He thought that over for a bit.
Calves like a flunky.
When I saw her again, she knew she was looking wretched. Pardon, some fool was cutting grass, a little rush, then another.
The problem was how...
The problem was how to convince her that no revival of intimacy was involved. I might have known, so I took her in my arms and I told her I could not go on living without her. I don't believe I could have.
The only solution was for us to go away together. He swore we should as soon as he had put his affairs in order. In the meantime, we were to carry on as before. By that he meant as best we could.
So he was mine again, all mine. I was happy again. I went about seeing the world.
At home, all heart to heart, new leaf and bygones, bygones. I ran into ex-doxy, she said one night on the pillow. You're well out of that, rather uncalled for. I thought, I am indeed, sweetheart, I am indeed. God, what vermin women. Thanks to you, angel, I said.
Then I began to smell her off him again. Yes.
When he stopped coming, I was prepared, more or less.
Finally, it was all too much. I simply could no longer.
Before I could do anything, he disappeared. That meant she had won. That slut, I couldn't credit it. I lay stricken for weeks. Then I drove over to her place. It was all bolted and barred, all grey with frozen dew, on the way back by ash and Scotland.
I simply could no longer.
I made a bundle of his things and burned them. It was November and the bonfire was going. All night I smelt them smouldering.
When first this change. When first this change, I actually thanked God. I thought, it is done, it is said, now all is going out.
Mercy, mercy, tongue still hanging out for mercy. You haven't seen me, but you will, then it will come.
To say I'm not disappointed, no, I had anticipated something better, more restful.
Or you will weary of me.
Down, all going down, into the dark, peace is coming, I thought. After all, at last I was right. After all, thank God, when first this change.
Less confused, less confusing. At the same time, I prefer this to the other thing, definitely. There are endurable moments.
I thought,
When you go out and I go out, someday you'll tire of me and go out for good.
Hellish half-light.
peace. Yes, I suppose a kind of peace, and all that pain as if never been.
Give me up as a bad job, go away and start poking and pecking at someone else. On the other hand,
Get off me, get off me!
Of course, I now know.
It will come.
on the other hand, things may disapprove. There is that danger.
Of course, I now know.
Is it that I do not tell the
Is
truth?
it that I do not tell the truth? Is that it? That someday, somehow, I may tell the truth at last, then I know my light at last for the truth?
You might get angry and blaze me clean out of my wits, mightn't you?
I now know all that was just play. And all this, when will all this?
I can do nothing.
Mightn't you?
All this, when will all this have been just play?
I can do nothing. For anybody. Anymore. Thank God, so it must be something I have to say. How the mind works still.
But I doubt it. It would not be like you somehow, and you must know I'm doing my best. Or don't you?
Perhaps they've become friends.
Perhaps they've become friends. Perhaps sorrow.
I've said all I can.
I've said all I can. All you let me. All I...
Perhaps sorrow has brought them together.
No doubt I make the same mistake as when it was the sun that shone, of looking for sense where possibly there is none.
Perhaps they meet and sit over a cup of that green tea they both so love without milk or sugar, not even a squeeze of lemon.
Are you listening to me? Is anyone looking at me? Is anyone bothering about me at all?
Not even a squeeze of.
Is it something I should do with my face other than utter? Weep?
Am I taboo, I wonder? Not necessarily, now little danger's averted. That poor creature, I can hear her, that poor creature.
Bite off my tongue and swallow it. Spit it out. Will that placate you? How the mind works still, to be sure.
Meet and sit now in one dear place, now in the other, and sorrow together and convey, happy memories.
If only I could think.
If only I could think. There is no sense in this, either none whatsoever, I can't.
That poor creature who tried to seduce you, whatever became of her, do you suppose? I can hear her, poor thing.
Personally, I always preferred Lipton's.
And they'd always fallen. All fallen. From the beginning on it, yeah. Nothing being said at all. No one asking me for anything at all.
They might even feel sorry for me if they could see me, but never so sorry as I for them.
She had means I
I
fancy.
can't.
I can't.
Kissing their sour kisses.
I pity them in any case. Yes, compare my lot with theirs, however blessed, and
She had means I fancy.
I can't.
I can't.
The mind won't have it.
I can't. The mind won't have it. It would have to go, yes.
Pity them.
What do you do when you go out? Shift?
Am I hiding something? Have I lost?
She had means.
She had means, I fancy, though she lived like a pig.
Like dragging a great roller on a scorching day, the strain to get it moving, momentum coming. Kill it and strain again.
Have I lost the thing you want? Why go out? Why go?
And you perhaps pity me, thinking, poor thing, she needs a rest.
Perhaps she's taking him away.
Perhaps she's taking him away to live, somewhere in the sun.
Why go down? Why not?
I don't know.
I don't know.
No, it's a woman.
I don't know. I don't know.
Perhaps she's sitting somewhere by the open window, her hands folded in her lap, gazing down out over the olives.
Why go down? Why not keep staring at me ceaselessly? I might begin to rave and bring it up for you, Pa.
No.
Don.
Gazing down out over the olives, then at the sea, wondering what can be keeping him. Growing cold,
Shadow stealing.
shadow stealing over everything. Creeping, yes.
To think they were never together.
Am I not perhaps a little unhinged already?
Poor creature. Poor creatures.
They never woke together on a May morning, the first to wake the other two, and then in a little dinghy.
Penitence, yes. At a pinch. Atonement. One would have designed. But no, that does not seem to be the point either.
I say, am I perhaps not a little unhinged already? Just a little. I doubt it.
A little dinghy.
Silence and darkness were all I craved. Will I get a certain amount of both? They being one. Perhaps it's more wickedness to pray for both.
A little dinghy on the river, I resting my oars, they lolling on air pillows in the stern. Sheets drifting such fantasies.
Dying for dark, and the darker the worse.
A shade gone in the head, just a shade, I doubt it.
We were not civilized.
Dying for dark, and darker the worse.
Such fantasies then and now.
I doubt it.
Yes, and the whole thing.
Yes,
there.
and the whole thing there, staring you in the face.
You will see it.
You will see it.
Get off me.
Get off me, or you will weary.
And now that you are mere eye, just looking at my face on and off, not even.
Weary of playing.
Weary of playing with me. Get off me.
Looking at my face, some truth in my eyes, not even. And there that you are mere eye, just switching on and off. Am I as much as being seen? We were not long together.
Out into this world, tiny little thing, out before it's, what? Girl, yes, tiny little girl, out into this godforsaken hole, cold, no matter, parents unknown, unheard of, out into this world, tiny little thing, out into this godforsaken hole, cold, no matter, parents unknown, unheard of, he having vanished, she similarly, 8 months later, almost at a tick, so no love spared that, no love such as normally vented on the speechless infant, no, nor indeed for that matter, any of any kind, no love of any kind, so typical affair, nothing of any note until coming to 60 when what? 70? Good God, coming up to 70 when wandering in a field, looking aimlessly for cowslips to make a ball, a few steps then stop, then on, a few more, so on, drifting around, when suddenly, gradually, all went out, all that early April morning light, and she found herself in the... What? Who? No, she! Found herself in the dark, and if not exactly insentient, for she could still hear the buzzing so cold in the ears. An array of light came and went, such as the moon might cast, drifting in and out of cloud, but so dulled, feeling so dulled, she did not know what position she was in. Imagine what position she was in, whether standing or sitting, but the brain... What? Kneeling? Yes, whether standing or sitting or kneeling, but the brain... What? Lying? Yes, whether standing or sitting or kneeling or lying, but the brain still in a wave of her first thought was, oh, long after sun flash, brought up as she had been to believe with the other waves in the merciful. God. First thought was, oh, long after she was being punished for her sins, a number of which then, for the proof, if proof were needed, flashed through her mind, then dismissed as foolish. Oh, long after, this thought dismissed, as she suddenly gradually realized she was not suffering. Imagine, not suffering, indeed could not remember offhand when she was suffering less, unless, of course, she was meant to be suffering less. Thought to be suffering, in which case, of course, then that notion of punishment, brought up as she had been to believe with the other waves in the merciful God, that notion of punishment which had first occurred to her, then dismissed as foolish, was perhaps not so foolish after all, so on, all that, vain reasonings, very foolish really, but what? The buzzing, yes, all the time the buzzing, so cold in the ears, and all this time this ray or beam like moonbeam, but probably not, certainly not, always the same spot, now bright, now shrouded, but always the same spot, like no moon could, no moon, just all part of the same wish to torment, though actually, of course, not a twinge, not at all, so far, till this other thought then, oh, long after, sudden flash, very foolish really, but so like her that she would do well to groan on and off, writhe she could not, as if in actual agony, but could not bring herself, some flaw in her makeup, incapable of deceit, or the machine, more likely the machine, so disconnected, never got the message, so far, she couldn't make this sound, no sound of any kind, not any sound, no screaming for help, for example, should she feel so inclined to scream, ah! Then listen! Scream again. Ah! Then listen again. No, spare that. All silent as a grave. No part. What? The buzzing? Yes, all the time the buzzings. All silent before the buzzing. So cold in the ears. No part of her moving that she could feel. Just the eyelids, presumably, on and off, shut out the light. Reflex, they call it. But even the lids, even best of times, who feels them? Opening, shutting, all that moisture. And the brain still sufficiently, oh, very much so, in control, under control, for so it reasoned on that early April morning, she fixing with her eye a distant bell, as she hastened towards it, she fixing with her eye, lest it elude her, so on, all that, vain questionings, all dead still, sweet, silent as the grave, as she suddenly realized, what? The buzzing? Yes, all dead still, but for the buzzing, as she suddenly realized, what? Who? No! She! Realized words were coming. Imagine, words were coming. A voice she did not recognize at first, so long since it had sounded. Then finally I had to admit could be none other than her own. Certain vowel sounds she had never heard elsewhere, so that people would stare. The rare occasions, once or twice or a year. The rare occasions. People would stare at her uncomprehending. And now this stream, steady stream. She who had never, on the contrary, but a moment, she who had never, practically speechless all her days, how she survived, even shopping, out shopping, busy shopping centre, just handing the list with the bag, all black shopping bag, then stand there waiting, middle of the throng, in length of time, mouth half open as usual, and then pay till it was back in her hand, the bag back in her hand, then pay and go, not so much as goodbye, how she survived. And now this dream, not catching the half of it, not the quarter, no idea what she was saying, imagine, no idea what she was saying, till she began trying to delude herself. It was not hers at all, not her voice at all, in which case, of course, what, then suddenly feeling, gradually she felt, what? Who? No, she! moving. Imagine her lips moving, and not only the lips, the mouth, the cheeks, the jaws, the whole face, all those... What? The tongue? Yes, the tongue in the mouth. Mouth, lips, cheeks, jaws, all those contortions without which no speech possible, and yet in the ordinary way, not felt at all. So intent one is on what one is saying, the whole being hanging on its words. So on, all that vain reasonings, till this other thought then, long after sun flash, even more awful if possible, that feeling was coming back. Imagine feeling coming back, starting from the top, then working down the whole machine, but spare that, so far, then thinking, long after sun flash, it can't go on, all this, all that, straining to hear the odd word, make something of it, her own thoughts make something of them, all that together. What? The buzzing? Yes, all the time the buzzing, all that together. Imagine the whole body like gone, just the mouth, lips, cheeks, jaws, never still. What? The tongue? Yes, the mouth, lips, cheeks, jaws, tongue, never still a second. For so it reasoned, oh, that early April morning light, so it reasoned. As she suddenly realized, whole body like gone, just the mouth, lips, cheeks, jaws, tongue, whole body like gone, as she suddenly realized, and the brain flickering away on its own, flickering away like mad. But what? The buzzing? Yes, all the time the buzzing, so cold in the ears. An array of light came and went, just as the moon might cast, drifting in and out of cloud, but so dulled, feeling so dulled, new every morning, April morning. Nothing but the larks sit face down in the grass. April morning. What? Not that? Nothing to do with that. All right. Nothing to do with that. Try another thing. Try something else. What? Not that either. Nothing to do with that either. All right. Nothing she could tell. Nothing she could think. Nothing she... What? Who? No. She! Before its time, God-forsaken hole, out into this world, God-forsaken hold, not knowing what she could, what to try, what, who, no, she, knew every morning, out into this world, tiny little thing, out in this God-forsaken hole, cold, no matter, parents unknown, unheard of, he having vanished, she similarly, 8 months later, monstetic, so no love, spent that, no love such as normal invented on the speechless infant. Thank you.